Immortality is the second expansion for Dune Imperium, and it's just been released for Dune Imperium Digital. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to play Immortality with a full game playthrough in the digital game. I'll explain the theme, all of the new mechanics, and everything you need to know as I play through games. You can see it all in action. If you like Dune Imperium, make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss anything coming on here. We've got full game playthroughs, strategy guides, how to play videos, and live streams. You can also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/bludgeon. What is Immortality about? It's all about the Tleilaxu, also known as the Bene Tleilax. Similar to the Bene Gesserit, they're really focused on genetics. The difference is the Bene Gesserit are interested in natural genetics. They have complicated long-term breeding programs trying to get to the result they want. The Tleilaxu are not so patient. They engage in direct genetic manipulation, splicing things together, growing all kinds of strange things in their mysterious axolotl tanks. That's what's going on with the Tleilaxu. Okay, let's jump straight into a game and we'll see what's going on here. Okay, the first thing I want to direct your attention to is the new stuff that Immortality adds to the game. So let's look over to the right here. One of the focuses of the Immortality expansion is deck building. So Immortality is going to add extra cards you can add to your deck and extra ways to add them to your deck. So over here we have the Imperium Row as normal. But over here, this is called the Tleilaxu Row. We can also take a look at it here. This is a separate deck of cards. In the physical game, it's a deck of about 18 cards. They get shuffled at the start of every game, and 2 of them get put face up here. This one is just kind of a placeholder card. It's a function that anyone can use at any time, and it never goes away. So there are 2 extra cards here. Now, notice that they don't cost persuasion. They cost a new resource called Specimens. So there are a few different ways to get specimens, and I'll explain that in a moment. But basically for now, just know that there's an extra little row of cards, and when you reveal, you can buy the Imperium cards or the supply cards with persuasion, and you can buy the Tleilaxu cards with specimens. And so you're going to see more cards being added to decks in Immortality. Okay, so where do specimens come from? Well, let's take a look at my hand. Look at this experimentation card. So in Immortality, you take out the Dune, the Desert Planet cards, and you replace them with experimentation cards. So each player is going to have 2 of these in their deck instead of the Dune, the Desert Planet card. And it does the same thing, right? It can take you to a spice trade spot, or on reveal, it gives you a persuasion, but it does more than that. First, let's look at the reveal. So when you reveal experimentation, you're going to get 1 persuasion, and you're going to get 1 specimen. When you get a specimen, you're going to take one of your troop cubes and add it to the Tleilaxu board if you're playing physically, or digitally, it's just going to automatically come out of your troop supply, and then you're going to see a little green cube next to your name. Okay, so that's one way you can get specimens, is by revealing experimentations or some other cards. You can also get them through some intrigue cards and some other effects, but this is kind of the main basic way to get them. Okay, now, what is that little research symbol, the microscope there? Okay, well, whenever you trigger a research symbol, which you can do by playing the experimentation, so let me just show you what happens. Let me go ahead and pick up some spice here. Okay. There's this whole other little board, the research track. So this is the research track. Whenever you trigger a research token, you're going to move your little player token from the left to the right. So for now, I'm going to move my little yellow token into this space here. So I can click it, and there it is. And that is also going to give me a specimen. You can see down here at the left now, I have 1 specimen. Now, as you continue along the research track, you're going to start having to choose. Do you want to go up to the top, or do you want to go right to the top or right to the bottom? So you're always moving right. You can never go back. You can never go directly up. You follow these little paths. So at this point, it's branching. Next time I can go here, or I can go here, And then from there, there or there, there or there. Okay, that's good enough for now. Let's just continue on with the game. Okay, so Ariana also triggered a research token, and you can see her space here as well. So you can share the same space as other people. All right, back to me. And let's see. Here's a new card. I could go for that, but I think I want to play my diplomacy. So I'm going to go up here to wealth. Beast also playing his experimentation. We can see he's also on the first step of the research track. And you can see the specimens starting to appear for people who have collected them. In the digital game here, it's not going to show you specimens unless you actually have any. So it's not going to show like a 0 specimen. If you have 0, you're just not going to see the cube at all. Something that's important to keep in mind is that specimens, they use your troop cubes. So similar to the tech negotiators in Rise of Ix, you're going to use your troop cubes from your supply to become specimens. So you have 12 cubes total. I have 2 of them here, 1 of them there, and 1 of them here. But unlike the tech negotiators, it's sort of a crunch on your cubes at this point, right? So there's a different rule with the specimens, which is at any time you can go in here and just harvest. You can just turn one of your specimens back into a cube that goes in your supply. It doesn't go in your garrison, but it goes back to your supply. So if you're, trying to hit Hayliner or Hardy Warriors and you don't have any troops to recruit, you can bring them back from specimens and use them as troops. Okay, it's my reveal. So I have persuasion and I have specimens. So for persuasion here, let's take gene manipulation. That's fairly thematic with the Tleilaxu. Now, I only have 1 specimen, which is not enough. This costs 3, this costs 3, and this costs 3. So I can't do anything with that. Okay, Ariana wins the conflict. She gets a spice and an influence. Okay. Well, it's time for me to sell some melange. So let me send my experimentation up here. Sell all of my melange, and let's trigger a second research token. So here you can see that I'm currently here, and I have the option to either go to the top side here and get a specimen, or I can go down here and get a Tleilaxu token, also called a scarab or a beetle colloquially. What is that? Well, let me show you. Up at the top here, this is called the Tleilaxu track. So this is the research track. This is the Tleilaxu track. And this kind of works as like a 5th faction track. It's not technically a faction track. This is not technically influence, but it kind of works that way. There are victory points to gain along this track. There's no alliance, but it takes kind of more steps to get there. So anytime you activate one of these Tleilaxu tokens or the Scarab, it's going to advance you to the right along this track. So check this out. Now here I have to click it, but the animation is a little weird there, but here we go. So I'm here. All right. And there are rewards to gain along this track. So once you get here, you're going to get an intrigue card. The first person to get here will get 2 spice and a victory point. Everyone else will get a victory point. And then there's another intrigue card and there's another victory point. So this research track, there's a lot of sort of strategy and decision making about which way you want to go through it. Some routes are going to maximize your Tleilaxu path and try to get these victory points. Other ones are going to focus more on specimens so that you can acquire Tleilaxu cards. You can also get some trash in here. You can also get some influence, some spice. So that's good enough for the moment. Let me end my turn. Okay, I'll grab Swordmaster with my Signet Ring and get a spice. Ooh, a double cross from Ilbon. Nice play. Taking Ariana right out of this and getting this for himself. Is there any way I can take this? No, there is not. I think I'm going to go... to wealth so that I'm getting closer to a high council seat. Okay, so Beast picks up a card. Wasn't able to buy anything with the specimens because everything here costs 3 specimens. All right, I still only have 1 specimen. I only have 2 persuasion. So we'll get an Arrakis liaison and move on. Great value here for Ilbon. Okay, it's my first action. And I think I might like to draw a card because my hand is not looking particularly exciting. So let me go ahead and do this. You know, I think I might Mentat here. I was talking about getting that High Council seat, but again, I'm just not excited about this hand. Okay, that's kind of what I wanted to see. I want to get some more specimens happening here. Ah, secure contract. Beast, come on, man. Okay, so Beast decided to go here on the research track, and so he gets a specimen and trashes a card. Let's see where Ilbon goes. Ilbon is blue. He went up and got a specimen. Beast has 3 specimens, so we should expect to see him do something with them this round. Okay, so I can play the experimentation, which will get me a specimen and a trash, or specimen and a Tleilaxu icon. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. Let's keep moving along the research track here. And I think I'm going to go this way. Get another Scarab. That's going to move me up here. It's going to get me an Intrigue card. Oh, plans within plans. Don't mind if I do. Okay, so Beast picked up a card there from the Tleilaxu Row. We've got a new one here that costs 2. I'll explain what that is when the time is right. Ilbon triggers a research by buying that card. He also goes for the specimen and the trash. Okay, so Ariana here just used Reclaim Forces. So let me explain what that does. Okay, so Reclaimed Forces is a card that's just always there. So it's kind of like the supply, it's kind of like the Arrakis Liaison of the Tleilaxu Row, except this card actually never goes in your deck. It's just an effect that you can trigger. So when you're revealing, if you want to, if you have the specimens, you can, instead of maybe buying one of these cards and adding it to your deck, you can pay 3 specimens and you have 2 choices. Either recruit 2 troops to your garrison, or get a Scarab. So that would move you along this Tleilaxu track over to the right here. So it's a way to progress towards these victory points. Now you might say, wait a minute, what's the point of trading 3 specimens for 2 troops when, didn't you say you can just go here and turn any specimens into troops whenever you want? Yes, the difference is this puts the troops into your supply, whereas this recruits the troops to your garrison, so they're ready to be put into conflicts. Okay. I am going to go up here. I'm going to get a troop and a persuasion. You might say, why do you want that persuasion? There's nothing here that even costs 7. Well, let me answer that question in a moment. Okay, so I could reveal and I could get opulence. There's different things here I could get. But you know what? Wouldn't it be great if there were like a Jessica, something a little bit more exciting? Maybe I don't like what's in the Imperium Row here. Well, you may have been wondering what these glowy little icons here. This is called Family Atomics. So I'm kind of in the way here. Let me just get myself out of the way so you can read this while I say it. Family Atomics. Use this once per game to remove and replace the Imperium Row. I guess I could have done it up here so you could see, but anyway. So I'm going to do that, even though there's actually some good stuff here. Let me show you how this works. So I'm going to click Family Atomics and remove and replace the Imperium Row when it's time for me to reveal. Whoa! Everything gets nuked. But let's see what we can find. Oh, okay. Well, we didn't find Jessica, but we did find Tleilaxu Master. Okay. Let me take this and I'll show you what he does in a moment. Now, Face Dancer Initiate is here, which costs 1 specimen, and I have 2. So let me get that, and we'll see how that works in a moment. Ooh, a Contaminator. I could get another one. This guy is a creep. Let's do it. Oh boy, this one costs 4. We'll see if anybody can ever get it. I could get another card, but I just added a bunch of cards. I feel like I've got a lot of cards in my deck already, so I'm going to skip the Voice. I'm going to skip Arrakis Liaison. I'm going to skip Spice Hunter. So I'm going to explain those cards that I just got when I draw them so that it's going to make sense in context. Okay, so what is going on here? Well, I guess I better explain that when my turn comes around, just so you know what's happening. But that is called Grafting, one of the very cool new mechanics in Immortality. And I have a Graft card here, so I'll be able to show you how it works. Grafting means you play 2 cards at the same time on your agent turn. So I'll show you how it works when my Graft card comes around, but that's what's going on. Okay, well, I think I want to use this Contaminator because that's going to get me a Scarab, and that's going to move me up along this Tleilaxu track, and hopefully I can be the first to get this Spice and that victory point. So let's just go ahead and do that. So let me get my point there. It's not a point, but my my Tleilaxu influence, even though it's not influence. I'll move my token on the Tleilaxu track. I think that's technically the way to say that. All right. I don't like not playing the diplomacy, but this will allow me to pick up High Council seat. And it's usually a good idea to play your experimentation if you can. Okay, so here I have the option. I can go this way and get another specimen. Currently I have 0. Or I can go here, which is going to just basically give me an instant bump over to here. So it just kind of moves me along the track a little bit quicker. And that's going to get me a Solari. But let's get another specimen. Let's see if we can get anything else out of those. Probably the strategically better move would be to not worry about specimens anymore, but, you know, we're trying to play with it, so we'll see if I can get anything else out of them. There's Ariana moving along the research track. Ilbon is rallying some troops. Oh, a test of humanity. Do I discard a card or lose a deployed troop? Well, you know what? I'm going to discard the diplomacy, believe it or not, because I do plan to get High Council here. And let's go with Freeman and just kind of unlock Siege Tabber. Oh, that's what I wanted. Okay, some stuff is getting picked up here. Wow, all kinds of stuff is getting picked up. Fast and furiously. All right, I'll take this Graft card just so we can maybe see more examples of how that works. And I'm even going to take this Quartermaster because he says if grafted. So he triggers if you graft a card with him. We'll see if we can make that work. Again, I'm not playing for like optimal strategy here, but I'm playing to teach you how Immortality works. And so I want to have as many chances as possible to kind of use these new mechanics. But as you can see, it's very easy to add a lot of cards into your deck when you're playing with Immortality. Discard a card. All right, let's lose this dagger. Okay, let's take a look at this Tleilaxu Master here. So you can see he reveals for 2 research tokens, which is pretty huge. That could really move me along this track pretty quickly. But what is going on with his agent ability? You see there's this genetic marker and then a double genetic marker. So let's look at the first part. It says, if you have a genetic marker, you may acquire a card that costs 6 or less. So what does that genetic marker mean? Well, if we go over here and look at the track, here is the first genetic marker. What this means is, if your little research token has advanced to right here, so it's gone as far as this, which mine has, that means I have the first genetic marker. Okay, it's not a resource that you spend, it's just a mark of your progress along the research track. So I have achieved the first genetic marker, so has Beast here on green. The other two have yet to do that. So that means that first effect on the Tleilaxu Master is active because I have that genetic marker. 2 genetic markers, or the double genetic marker, means you have to have gotten to the end of the research track. You can see that here. So that second ability of put the card you acquire into your hand is only active if you have gotten all the way to the end of the research track. Okay, these have a couple of other effects, but I'll get to that. Well, I'll just explain it right now. The other effect of having this first genetic marker is whenever you acquire a Tleilaxu card, you now have the option to put it directly on top of your deck instead of in your discard pile. So that means that the Tleilaxu cards are going to kind of remain relevant later into the game because you don't have to wait, 2 or 3 rounds to draw them. You can make sure you draw it right away on the following round, or perhaps even draw the card this round. Well, I guess not, because you can only get these during your reveal. That's what that does. The extra effect of the double genetic marker is it means whenever you trigger a research icon, well, you're already maxed, like you can't go any further on the research track. So from then on, if you ever trigger a research icon, you will draw a card. Notice, by the way, I didn't talk about this, but the one change that Immortality makes to the base game board is Research Station. So in the original game, Research Station draws 3 cards. If you're playing with Immortality, instead it's drawing 2 cards and trigger a research token. But if you make it all the way to the end here, then this just turns into the old Research Station, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so I can use this guy and acquire Gurney Halleck, which is kind of cool. But you know what? I think I want to just research like crazy this game. So I'm going to reveal him instead, I believe. So let me go ahead and just go to Arakeen and draw a card. Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to deploy a unit this round. There's Beast Grafting. I'll be able to graft next round to show you how that works. These sound effects are cool. Okay, so Ilbon has moved along and gotten the intrigue card there. Okay, I want to continue researching. I don't really need Solari, so maybe I just go here, spend my water, get a little bit of spice. I think I'm actually going to rally some troops first. So Ilbon's card here also interacts with that genetic marker. So with this card, whenever you play it as an agent, if you have a genetic marker, then you get to advance on the Tleilaxu track, which is what he just did. So he's now tied with me. All right. Well, let's go ahead and... Still not really sure that I want to deploy. I could get 2 troops in here. It's not going to do a whole lot. So think we'll skip that. Let's go ahead and research. And let's get another specimen. Okay, so somebody else just nuked the row there. Much to Ilbon's delight, perhaps. No, he just goes for a spice must flow. All kinds of new cards in the Imperium row. I'm not going to, go through every new card we see, but there are some cool new cards in Immortality. Like, look at that. Very neat. Okay. Now, Tleilaxu Master. Let's trigger these research. Here we go. That's going to get me the victory point. And 2 spice. So I'm the only one who's going to get that 2 spice because I was the first one there. Let's research again. And let's go for another specimen. And we also get to trash a card. Well, let's get rid of the dagger. Okay. Well, I have 3 specimens here. This is probably the final chance I'm going to have to actually use specimens this game. I was hoping to get this usurp. Is there a chance? Could I potentially get it next round? I don't think so. All right, so let me show you how Reclaimed Forces works. So I'm going to spend 3 specimens on this, and I have the option I either recruit 2 troops, but my garrison's already pretty full, or I get another Scarab. So let's go ahead and do that and move along that track. But you know what? Now that I've shown you how it works, I'm going to undo it. Because what I really want is more grafting to try to show you how that works. So I'm going to take this Beguiling Pheromones, which, well, I'll show you what happens when I get it. And, ooh, I get to put it on top of my deck. So let's do that. And that's just with my specimens. I still have Persuasion to spend here. Ooh, here's more specimens potentially. But I think it's maybe a bit late for that guy. Let's take this Clandestine Meeting, which mysteriously has no agent icons, but does have an agent effect. What? How does that work? Demand respect for Beast. He gets the Bene Gesserit Alliance. Okay, this is a great hand. Okay, so I finally have some Graft cards here. So let's look at what it says. Cards with Graft must be played along with another card from your hand to send an agent. You get both sets of agent icons and the effects of both agent boxes. So normally when you send an agent on your agent turn, you choose 1 card and you send an agent. With Graft, you choose 2 cards and send an agent. And you get to choose between the agent icons of both cards as to where you want to go. So for example, if I decide to graft Beguiling Pheromones to Face Dancer Initiate, then I could go to an Emperor spot, a Guild spot, a Freeman spot, a City spot, or a Spice Trade spot, and I would get the effects of both agent boxes. Now the Beguiling Pheromone says, if you send an agent to a faction board space this turn, trash one of the grafted cards and gain an additional influence with that faction. So it kind of lets you turn like a faction card into a power play. If I played these two together somewhere, I could trash one of these two cards and then get 2 influence, which is kind of cool. But let's take a look at this guy. Sardaukar Quartermaster. He's not a graft card, but his agent box says, if grafted, get a troop and draw a card. So this guy wants to be grafted to get extra effect. So let's do that. All right, now how does this work? Well, if you're playing in person, you just put the 2 cards down and you say what you're doing. In the digital game, you drag one of the 2 cards somewhere. So where do I want to go? I think you know what? I want to go to selective breeding, but this card can't take me there because the Bene Gesserit don't fall for the tricks of the Face Dancer Initiate. The Emperor's people, the Freemen, the Guild, they can't tell the difference between the shapeshifters. Face Dancers are like Tleilaxu shapeshifters. But the Bene Gesserit, they can see through it. All right. Well, let me go to fold space. And now I'm going to graft the Quartermaster, so I'll drag him up. And so they're both going to fold space. And I get all of the effects. Draw a card from the Quartermaster. I got a troop. I get influence. And I get fold space. Beast is doing some grafting. Okay, so there's the first movement along the Tleilaxu track for Ariana. When you play Immortality, you're going to notice that some games, maybe you focus a lot on Tleilaxu, the Tleilaxu track, trying to get these points. Other games, you might not really do much along there at all. You might be more into the Specimens. Okay, I think I want to draw. So let me go to Reconnaissance. Reconnaissance to Arakeen. Let's see what I can find. So I could graft the Beguiling Pheromones, but this won't actually do anything for me because I'm not going to a faction board space. It's just basically discarding a card. So I'm going to decline to graft. Let's deploy some troops. I was hoping to draw maybe my diplomacy to turn it into a power play. But we're not going to get that option. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to discard Dagger and Beguiling Pheromones. Alright, Ariana coming in with a Hayliner. I guess she really wants this. I was really hoping to pick up that For Humanity card, but it's not going to happen. Okay, well, I think I'd like water, and I wouldn't mind trashing a card at the same time. I don't care too much about adding any of these cards to the deck. I've got a large deck as it is. And it looks like Ariana did not deploy, so that's fine. Let's get rid of this dagger. I think I'm okay. I'll just hang on to my troops for now. This card is pretty crazy. At the start of your reveal turn, return the other grafted card from play to your hand. So if you use the Chair Dog and graft a card with it, they both get used as agents. But then the other card that you grafted goes back to your hand and you also reveal it. So you get to use the agent box and the reveal box from the same card. Is there any use in me getting a Tleilaxu Surgeon here? I guess maybe I could use Emperor Influence. We'll take it just for the laughs. Not sure if I'll be getting plans within plans. It's a little bit of a slow game here, round 6. The points are pretty low, but again, we're playing against AI, and I'm not exactly playing to maximize victory points. There's one of the new intrigue cards, Vicious Talents, gives you swords based on how far along you are on the research track. So 2 by default, 4 if you have a genetic marker, and 6 if you have 2. All right, I get an intrigue card and 2 Solari. Ambush, not a bad thing to have at all. Solari could be good for a Mentat. Okay. I think I want to use this and see if I can get that victory point before the end of the game. So let me go ahead and use my Contaminator to still suits. Move up there. Very nice animation and sound effects. Always appreciate that. I'm just going to put in 1 because I don't... I'll put in 2. Beast doing lots of grafting this game. Ariana also doing some grafting. The Guild Impersonators is such a cool card. So it has a Space and Guild agent icon, so you can send it to Fold Space or Hayliner. But it's Graft, and it says if you gain Spice this turn, gain a Guild influence. So what she did is she sent it... She grafted it to Experimentation, and she sent them both to Great Flat, which gained Spice, which triggered the agent effect on Guild Impersonators. So even though she didn't send it to a guild spot, she still got the guild influence, which is quite cool. All right, let's show you research stations. Let me send Signet Ring to research station. I'll draw 2 cards. We'll research, and this is the end of the research track for me. So I have the option, either I just gain a Scarab, or I go here and I can pay 7 Solari for 2 Scarabs, but I don't have 7 Solari, so this is the option. That's going to get me an intrigue card. Corner the market. Okay. Let's go for this. Okay, so Tleilaxu Master is now active. I have both genetic markers. So if I play him as an agent, then I can acquire a card from the Imperium Row for 6 or less. Or sorry, acquire a card. So it doesn't have to be from the Imperium Row. It could be an Arrakis Liaison, I guess. And it goes right into my hand. So I could put Worm Riders straight into my hand, which is pretty cool. Or if I reveal him, I get 2 research tokens. But I'm already maxed on the research track, so that would actually be draw 2 cards on reveal. Which can be interesting for buying Spice Must Flow. All right, final agent. Do I want to use the experimentation? That'll draw me a card. Or do I want to play the Tleilaxu Master and get Worm Riders into my hand? You know what? I think I'm going to play the experimentation. Although, no, I kind of want the specimen. I want to see if I can get the chair dog to happen this game. All right, so let's play the diplomacy then. And let's go to selective breeding. We'll get rid of a reconnaissance. Okay. So I have plenty of persuasion. I guess I didn't really need the card draw if I was doing the selective breeding, but that's okay. So on reveal here, I'm going to get one Scarab because I have that genetic marker. So that's going to move me up to the final space, and I'm going to get that victory point. I'm also going to get a specimen. Actually, I'm going to get 2 specimens. And I'm going to draw 2 cards. So the no agent icons here, if you haven't guessed, the trick with this card is you can graft it. So even though it doesn't have agent icons of its own, if you graft it, then you can still send it to the board and trigger the agent ability. Okay, so we're going to draw. And of course, the cards I draw just immediately get revealed. Okay, let's take this chair dog and let's put it on top of the deck and see if we can see that in action. And, you know, of course, we'll take a Spice Must Flow because, you know, we got to take a Spice Must Flow here. All right, and it looks like Ambush might win me this conflict. So this Long Reach is another kind of tricky card. There's a few cards that like this, where look at these okay, I'll wait till the animation stops so that it doesn't keep disappearing from view. And I'll show you what that's all about. Okay. Long Reach. What the hell are those grayed out agent icons? What that means is those agent icons do not exist unless you meet some condition. So here it says, if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, this has Landsrad, City, and Spice Trade agent icons. Otherwise, it doesn't. So if you want to play the Long Reach as an agent, which you really do, because look at the agent effect, choose 2 influence. Get 2 different influence of your choice. Good Lord. Okay, but to do it, you have to combo it by playing another Bene Gesserit card first, or you can just graft it. So if you graft it, you don't need those agent icons. So there are a few cards like that in Immortality where they have grayed out agent icons. Sometimes they're all grayed out. Sometimes maybe some of them are grayed out. And it'll tell you on the card what causes them to exist. All right, back to the combat. Let's play the Ambush. And let's see if Beast... Beast has a Master Tactician. All right. Ilbon has a private army? Does he have anything else? Okay, he's just going for 3rd place. All right, well, I lose out on this. Beast is going to get the double influence. He could take the Emperor Alliance right now if he wants to. And he does. Plays an intrigue card to get some more specimens. All right, so I got a staged incident. Corner of the market. I mean, this guy is kind of crazy because, if nothing else, he's 2 persuasion for 3 with a faction icon. But the other stuff is kind of wild if you can get him early enough, I think. At this point, I'm not really going to be using any of that. Okay. Well, I could graft these 2 together, go to wealth, and jump up 2. But it's not quite enough to get the other one. The chair dog is not super exciting right here. You know what I'm going to do? Let's check out the chair dog. Okay, I'm going to send the chair dog to Mentat with the gene manipulation. Or you know what? No. Let's do it with this guy so we can draw 2 cards. All right, this is going to let me Hayliner. No, it's not. No. Okay, well, this game might be over. Interesting, the AI seems decent here in Immortality. Looks like I'm going to lose to Beast. Maybe not. Maybe I steal that alliance from him just in time. That's what I'm going to have to try. Okay, so let's do this. We'll get the Emperor influence from visiting the space. Now I'm going to use the Beguiling Pheromones' ability. And I'll just lose this guy. Maybe I can find another use for this if somehow we go to another round. Might be interesting. All right. Get the second influence. And then if I go to Conspire, I can take that. I mean, it's still going to be over, though, because Beast is going to win this conflict and get to 11. I can bring it back down to 10, but that's the best I can do. Oh, maybe Ariana? 4 intrigue cards? Maybe? Oh no, he's going to get to 10. Yeah, 10. 10 is good enough. I'm a little confused because one of the optional modes for Immortality is called Go to 11, which means the victory condition is 11 points instead of 10, which just gives you a little bit more time to use the cards you're adding to your deck. It makes the Tleilaxu cards more interesting, just adds to the deck building kind of nature of the game. Unfortunately, this is no good for me. I'm already maxed, so I'm just going to burn it. Yeah. Oh, Beast! Can he take the alliance back from me? Picks up the Liet Kynes. I will have 2 Spice Must Flows. Is that more than anybody else? No. Beast. Oh, Ariana, please get him. Maybe we go to another round here. She doesn't have any intrigue cards. Oh well. Right. So I can buy Spice Must Flow, but then I can't use the staged incident. Oh well. It doesn't really matter. Let's see what we get for an intrigue here. Oh no, I'm going to miss my corner of the market point for that. Oh well. Again, it doesn't matter too much. Whatever. So I could have ended at 9 points instead, because I don't have the plans within plans. I maybe should have tried harder, but instead of taking the alliance from Beast, I guess. Anyway, the point of this was not to really try my best to win the game. The point was to show you everything you need to know to play Immortality, and I think we covered everything there. So we covered the Tleilaxu Row and Specimens. We covered the research track. We covered the Tleilaxu track. We talked about Graft. I showed you how that works. How the genetic markers can be relevant for certain cards or certain effects. How you can get your specimens back for troops anytime you want. And how you can convert them into garrison troops instead by using reclaimed forces. And we saw some of the new cards and intrigue cards that have been added to the game. So that is it. I hope that was useful for you. Please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, if it was helpful, and if you have any questions. I'd be happy to clarify anything if I missed anything, and let me know if I did. All right, thanks so much. Again, subscribe if you have not. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/bludgeon. And if you want extra content, press the join button to become a member. You can also join the Discord. The link is in the video description, and you can chat with other players, find out about new live streams, ask questions in there, and join in on viewers games as well. Live streams happen Sunday mornings, Eastern time, as well as other times on top of that. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.